Guys, it's Will. Hopefully you're having a great day today. APLD stock is a data center company that might be flying under the radar right now. And the reason why is because most people are talking about NVIDIA, they're talking about AMD stock, talking about the different companies that are innovating in the AI space. But one thing that happened, for example, with Tesla or maybe with Apple, was that everybody was talking about Apple stock and everybody was talking about Tesla. But during those late 2015s, getting into 2020s, which stock was the main provider? It's so funny, Nala. She's thinking that this tree is a real tree and she like claws it. It's very funny. Um, which stock was the stock that was making up the growth, that was powering Apple, that was powering Tesla? It was NVIDIA. And so now we're looking at NVIDIA. Everybody's talking about it. I was just at the gym yesterday, and one of the things that happened was, I was talking with somebody that watches the channel, and they were saying that they were saying I was searching up Big Bear AI, and you came up. They said, and I was like, no way, that's cool. And why are you searching Big Bear AI? They're like, because a while back when I was talking to her, I said, what stocks are you investing in? And she said, NVIDIA. And I said, that's a solid pick. You should look at some of these other ones. And I told her some other ones. And while NVIDIA is what everybody talks about, what you might want to look at is the companies that are building the infrastructure for NVIDIA to operate. Same thing you would look at for, if you wanted to indirectly invest in Starlink. And I see the chats here. We got Shanto, hi, what's going on? Marty, Neil, hey there, what's going on, Neil? Nalzir's here, let's go. Nalzir says, I got to be up in 4 hours, but can we do an SCES breakdown? All right, I'll get to it right here after APLD. Stuart Phillips says, good day, Will. Hey, what's up, Stuart? Appreciate you all. So again, AMD stock gets a lot of hype and is growing, maybe, I believe, because yes, there's data centers, but also they're providing the microchips for Starlink, which is a big satellite system that is absolutely crushing it. So let's take a look at APLD. I think we have some charts mapped out too. We had a support and resistance. It looks like it hasn't been acting as bullish as we normally like to see. And it looks like my cursor is not showing up here. Not sure why that is. That's okay. And you see the chart, it's kind of approaching this rising support level. And it's also at in a downtrend right now. So maybe I can pull up a trend. There we go. And you see that it is kind of downtrending. You got APLD is kind of trending like this. It's possible it continues to sell down, but it has this overall uptrend. Why is it that we could see it maybe bounce here? In the greater market sell-off that we're seeing might be fueled heavier by the Fed rates, but what we're looking at is that I believe that the company is finding some support. Why is that? Well, they are a company that builds data centers for those companies like NVIDIA. And so when you have a company that supplies, this is for CoreWeave, this is a $7 billion deal. But then we go over into their company, you can see they build data centers specifically for AI. So when AI gets invented, it's not just this technology. Oh, it's AI. It doesn't work like that. It's based on GPUs. It's based on CPUs, on computer usage. And in order to run those computers, whenever you use ChatGPT or something like that through the internet, they're going to data centers, and your query is going to a data center, and that's where the workload is being processed for the compute. Now, in the traditional data centers, you have general purpose buildings with kind of air-cooled systems, kind of like a warehouse with a bunch of computers. It gets really hot. It's not very efficient and pretty limited by their infrastructure. And a lot of times they build those data centers just based off the grid. Now they're using a lot of power, so it's not very efficient. APLD, they specifically focus on strategically placing near renewable energy sources and also advanced liquid cooling for superior efficiency and space utilization. They focus on compact design, high power density, and also minimizing the carbon footprint, which it makes sense. Big tech is working with them, right? You got NVIDIA, Supermicro, Intel, Dell Technologies, as well as HP, Hewlett Packard there. Why is that? It's most likely because they also want to reduce their carbon footprint. What you can see is they are bringing the workloads directly to the point of generation. So you got wind turbines, you got solar, hydroelectric, all that good stuff. And now we're looking at kind of at the financials. And I see Nalzir says, got another hour in the tank. Don't worry, appreciate you. Buying the dip on CoreWeave. Personally, I'm not well versed on CoreWeave, so I couldn't tell you. But we can definitely look into it. For APLD, the news has been fairly good. There's a few hype articles, watch out, like 5x potential. Could it happen? Yes. But when you look at the financials, you see increasing revenues. So revenues looking pretty good, increasing here year over year. Their revenue's up 22%. Their net income is up 42%. So overall, their investment's looking pretty good. And if we look at their annual, it looks good. The net income's a little negative. They got higher liabilities than some other companies, and sometimes that's just because they're building stuff, their infrastructure, their construction. So they got about $1.7 billion in total assets, and their liabilities are at 1.2. Overall, pretty good outlook for them at a $2 billion market cap. If they've got 1.7 billion in cash and about over 50 million a quarter, pretty good for them. So that's kind of what we're looking at for APLD's financials. When you get into this side of things, which is the institutional holdings on APLD, surprisingly low. If I'm not mistaken, it's let's see, surprisingly low amount of institutional. Nope, never mind. Institutional ownership is up 61%. Increased positions 177, and I see Ash says, "What do you make of Iran?" We could take a look. Van Man says, hey, what's up, Van Man? Hopefully you're having a good day today. So BlackRock, 716,000 shares, they're invested there. Or sorry, 16 million shares there, but they've increased their position. You got Vanguard, State Street, and Goldman Sachs. And now they're at this level. Couple key levels to watch with APLD stock. You do have a previous resistance level. We do watch those previous resistance levels as they do act as a support. So you got resistance, support. It's important to what you really need to do is make sure that even if you're, having a plan here, like let's say we get into this trade and we're going for this bounce here, a margin for profit of this here, maybe it's a 30% swing, beautiful, really nice potential swing, and it could keep that uptrend potentially. And they also, not to mention, if I head over to Stockmate, if you're a Stockmate member, you'll see this. You have some good press releases from Lawrence. Shout out Lawrence, always in with the great research there. Then you got the earnings that we got, some targets, and I do have some earnings. If you want them, they're in Stockmate. But we have earnings reported tomorrow after hours on APLD. So we'll be watching closely as they're reporting earnings again Wednesday after hours there on the 30th. So, and I see how much have I missed? Hector, we're on the first stock here. Happy to have you here. Van Man, was APLD company that pivoted from crypto mining? I think they pivoted, they supply for anyone that needs a data center. So it could be crypto miners, could be in this case, NVIDIA, and it really just depends on who needs data center. When it comes to that margin for profit, what I was saying is you can have a plan. You have a plan for profit, and you might figure it out like we were doing this morning in a trade. And let's say in this case, we're going for a $14 trade, and you want to make some money here, maybe 36%, right? So $14 is the price target. So let's just say, we get in at $10. Let's say that it's at $12 and we got it, I don't know, 2,000 shares, something like that. We'd be up $4,000, right? But let's just say we go for that 36%, right? 36% return somewhere in here. This is a profit calculator. If you want it, I can send it to you. I would love to. I'll shoot in the chat if you want it. But basically, we have our risk management in place. And those things are all great. You want to have that in place, have a plan in place, especially in this market volatility. But what's more important is that we have companies that are intrinsically valuable, especially when things are becoming, let's say volatile. Not to say that companies are overvalued. Yes, there are some, but the amount of value creation in the world right now is absolutely crazy. Like there's so much value creation. I feel like it's unbelievable. And so that's why I think we could see more stocks rally. But again, they're at a resistance here. We're going to be watching. Be interesting to see because they have sold down. There was also a previous resistance here at about 1050 we mapped out. And we said, hey, we want to see them hold that level. So if they don't hold it, they're not able to rally through, and they break this support, then we're really kind of looking, well, we'll see what happens in their financials. But they're definitely holding off for financials right now. So that's the outlook for APLD. The next one we're going to go over here is for Nalzir, who said that it's like, 2 a.m. where he's at right now? Man, that's crazy. I can't believe you're up at whatever time it is. And you say you'll be up for one more hour. Okay. What do we got here? It was SCES. Let me take a look here. Can't say I haven't seen this one on the radar from some people. Looks like last time we were mapping it out, we were projecting a move of 20% up into about $1 a share. Looks like it not only made that move, but actually surged even more, up about 50%. And then found that previous resistance level as the support, started to continue that bullish momentum. How many of you guys, I'm curious, comment. How many of you guys have heard of SCES? And if you have not, just say no, but how many of you guys have heard of it? Curious. And then Chris says, oh, what are the thoughts? Now Zero's laughing. Man, it's late there. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, man, 2 a.m. You're up at 6 a.m. All right, let's get this analysis done for now Zero. Okay, SCES. $1.31 a share. We've seen it surge here. It's breaking out of this consolidation that we kind of projected. And I'm just going to also, for you, I'm going to jump into Mercatus here. And this is our new predictive analysis software. And I'm going to give a breakdown here for SCES as well for you. So that can be loading up so we can get an outlook from AI as well. In this case, it's the OpenAI model for the future analysis. And we're going to jump into this level here. We got support rising there on SCES. We're kind of watching here. You got a resistance level there. So definitely kind of in a trend. So we'll get into the financials here. Already up 50% since last time we've gone over it. Marty says sounds familiar. Maybe Marty, because you're here every live session and we covered it last, last month. That's why Marty might have heard of it. Pablo says, love penny and low float stocks. Okay, so let's take a look at the financials here on SCES. So again, those are the technicals. It's at a support level. Resistance level is there. Okay, so we're watching maybe for that bullish trend there to continue there. So let's search SCES. Oh, looks like we have done some research on this one before. SCES stock. Okay. I'm going to start with the product real quick. Okay, so they are focusing on AI accelerated materials discovery, signing a contract totaling $10 million to develop AI level metal something, unveils AI enhanced 2170 batteries for humanoid robots. They focus on battery tech. That's what they do. And they got some testimonials from Honda, from Hyundai, from University of Chicago, General Motors. Okay. They work with Applied Materials, LG. LG's big on batteries. They do actually battery backups for solar. I remember because years ago I used to install solar. GM, Hyundai, okay, Kia. All right. During that time, years ago, I actually have a story, but I used to do $20 a day for for NVIDIA. Crazy. I actually have a screenshot of it. I have a screenshot of it. I want to show it, not for bragging purposes, but just for the craziness of working blue collar, investing in AI, and seeing the returns. Because I know some people work day jobs and they might not see much. They're like, oh, I'm only investing a couple $100. It can make a huge difference when you find hyperscalers like NVIDIA for you. Now, some of the things that happen in life when we invest, sometimes people get caught up in the hype. So far, it looks pretty good. They got testimonials, things like that, but let's make sure they're solid. SCES AI Corp, they have some hype articles every day, so be careful here. Looks like they got earnings coming up. Is that something we have listed here? SCES? Is it this week they have earnings or no? Doesn't look like it. Must be next week. The financials indicate a market cap of 458 million, so not a small company. They're small cap, but not too bad. Revenue is kind of non-existent. They've seen some revenue, 5 million a quarter, starting to increase there, and their net income still negative. Net income's up 20% year over year, as they did get a little bit better about it, I guess, in that last quarter compared to the last year. They have lots of cash to work with on the balance sheet, but it's declining kind of in the last 3 years. So it's high risk. It's not too bad. The balance sheet's definitely balanced. Total liabilities much lower than that of their assets, which indicates some financial health there that is good. No revenue that's really that notable. So that's kind of the breakdown. When it comes to the trend, I mean, it looks like they're trying to keep the trend up. They're already up 50%, but they recently pulled back from that high of $1.47. It looks like the next target for Nalzir, if you're bullish, about 17% upside to that $1.50 range. It's had some manipulation in the past there in 2024, so kind of watch out. You see a market cap build. Might not be manipulation, might just be because they're such a small market cap that one institutional buyer can move the stock so significantly. That could have been part of what happened, but it looks like it went back down. We see the market cap build again. So a couple things could happen here. If I was entering a trade on the short term, I would definitely look for that $1.50 range. But I would definitely have a support level here that I would watch closely, this resistance level at $1.20, and I would have a stop loss probably somewhere around $1.15 somewhere in here, just to make sure that you keep that risk managed closely, as it is a penny stock and it could move down very quickly. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Cool. So that's your breakdown, Nazir. Hopefully that helps you, man. The other stock that's definitely got a lot of interest at the moment, we went over APLD, is the other data center stock that's reporting earnings. Have you guys seen that this stock, Vertiv, is reporting pre-market tomorrow? Now, Vertiv is one we just started kind of covering a little bit more, and they specialize in data centers, co-location and cloud, federal, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, and they specialize in these modular systems that are essentially kind of like what supermicrocomputer does. Some people think supermicrocomputer does semiconductors, but actually what they focus on is they focus on housing systems for data centers. You see that? So they got these housing systems that then you can put in, I mean, maybe they have some setups here for some semiconductors, but mostly they work with NVIDIA, or they work with xAI, for example, Elon's company, to help them house all of the NVIDIA GPUs. So they work on creating these like towers, okay? And they work in data centers. So some people think that they're just, see, this is air-cooled, liquid-cooled rack scale for NVIDIA. You see that? Some people think they build the semiconductors, but that's not the case. And they've actually been able to carve out billions of dollars in revenue by doing so. Vertiv actually is doing the same thing. You can see these new modular AI solutions being deployed in a data center that is located in Norway. And these are really interesting. They specialize in it's Polar required, and it says that they are integrating like really good cooling systems for high density of racks, IT infrastructure. And there was a really good article, I can't find it now, the Cool Chip CDU, maybe that's it. And so they build these. And then when we look at the earnings, so they're reporting again, just a friendly reminder, according to stock meets pre-market on Wednesday. And so Vertiv stock, VRT, has a market cap fairly up there at about 54 billion. Now their PE ratio, just for reference, they're already pretty high. Nalzir says, cheers, man, always appreciate it. He says, earnings, the 4th of August. So I think this bull run will continue for now until closer to the date. I will probably sell back pre-earnings as my usual strategy. Nalzir says, gonna start to wrap up and head home. May still get 3 hours of sleep. That's dedication, man. I personally probably only spend on any given day 2 hours max in front of my monitor on the charts. So it kind of depends on how you trade, but I usually say like you don't have to spend all day. You just have to have a plan together and be able to, find quality companies that you can invest in confidently. And I'm glad you're doing it. Neil says, like the company that sold the picks shovels during the gold rush. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good way to look at VRT. I just went on a river rafting trip this past weekend. This guy is talking about all the different mining equipment because I live in Northern California, so that's where the gold rush was, right? And so I even have a mining claim on my property. We got mineral rights, so we got that. And we were going down the river rafting, class 3, class 4. If you know, they're kind of big rapids, kind of crazy in an American river. And the guide is pointing out, oh, you see this? This is a sluice box. This is a gold mining hydraulic thing. They were shooting into the mountain, all this. And, when he was talking about the wealth that was created, you're right. All the people made money selling what? Was it selling gold? No, it was selling the equipment to mine the gold. And so when you look at AI, yes, AI companies that are supplying it like OpenAI and NVIDIA or Google or Apple or I guess XAI is becoming a major one. Claude AI, definitely Google. You're seeing that they're selling it directly and it's doing well. It's doing great. But the companies that are building the data centers for those companies are doing well. And right now you see Vertiv, it's about $2 billion per quarter in revenue. And their balance sheet, fairly disciplined, and total assets looking good, rising year over year. They've been really building out their data center construction. A comparable company to them would be APLD, like the one we were looking at earlier. Their revenue looks really good and their net income's positive. So we could see Vertiv VRT continue to grow, I believe, in the long term. When we look at their stock, let's take a look at the chart so we can get a margin for profit and kind of wrap it up here. They are at a resistance level. Okay, so they pulled back just a tiny bit today. They got up to that previous high of about $142 a share. They have earnings coming up. So if we see a dip on earnings, it is again tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, pre-market. If they have a dip on earnings and they have good earnings, maybe it's a good buying opportunity. I wouldn't buy before earnings. They're out of resistance right now. The market also has the Fed meeting tomorrow. Things could happen, so just be careful. You could see some things potentially correct if those things don't pan out well. So just keep that in mind. You got that there. So VRT, earnings tomorrow. As far as financials, they look good. The market's definitely a good market to focus on. And we'll keep a close eye on them here into the middle of the week. Some other really good plays that we've been investing in here. We got AMD stock position is up 74% since entry. AMDL's up 53%. Black Sky has been dipping back down. I just definitely haven't got any new short-term positions on Black Sky. But we'll be keeping you up to date with the best space tech companies as well as quantum companies. And if you ever want to learn not just when to invest in them and why we choose quality companies, but really how to invest and how to do the analysis that we do on a consistent basis, then I would encourage you to join StockMates. It's the second link in the description. And also, for those of you guys that want to learn with me and join our everyday live sessions, just know there's not any information that's not publicly available. You could go find all the earnings, for example. Maybe you wouldn't get the targets, as I have some of my own targets that go into it. And there are, as of recent studies, over 24 millionaires inside of StockMate, which is excellent. So you do get that access. But again, a lot of what you could find here is on YouTube. So if you want to get information, just continue watching the videos by all means. There is a special sale there, and it's lifetime access for the daily live trading. So if you want the lifetime access, then it's recurring daily live trading. You get lifetime access with the second link in the description, and I'll send you a free t-shirt. Thanks so much for tuning in. Smash the like button if I earned it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Happy Tuesday, and we'll be watching the market tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.